And we're back. Welcome back to your favorite Purple Pill content page, your favorite Purple Pill content podcast, Crane's Dating Coaching, where we hope to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so we can set you free to go out into the dating realm and make things shake. And tonight we're going to make things shaky. We're going to make things shake like a red-nosed pit bull with Alzheimer's. And that's shaky. We're not going to waste too much time. We're definitely going to get into things for our second episode entitled No More First Dates. That's right. No more first dates, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to explain why after we take just a quick break. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this podcast, and to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a kin to tune in to your favorite Purple Pill podcast, Crane's Dating Coaching. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We weren't gone for that long. And we're just going to get into it. Now tonight's episode, which is our second episode here, is No More First Dates. And I'm going to answer the question as to why we're no longer going to do first dates in 2021 or the years to come if the dating world does not change. Now, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a period of dating to where we are in what's called the hookup culture. And in the hookup culture, there's much more situations that are happening than actual relationships. There's much more entanglements than people looking to get into a relationship. It's more of a flyby type of thing, right? Now, in my first episode, Purple Pill content, I kind of went into this. And I want my ladies to really kind of understand as to why men should no longer go on first dates. And as to why some of you women as well, should no longer go on first dates. Now, one of the biggest things that I've seen and that I've heard, one of the key factors is that a lot of my guys that I would talk to would have a huge dilemma in dealing with the flaky behavior of women. And I kind of tap into this in my first episode, right? And the thing that they're facing is that a lot of times women will talk about all of what they want in a man and all of their expectations and things that they want to see on a date. But when it comes down to it, they may flake. And this can be due to a number of reasons. She could have things going on, or she may not have just been that interested in that guy. But most times it's usually the first one, usually the second one, that she's not really into that guy, right? And I myself and other men have gone through this. And again, I want my female listeners to listen and understand where men are truly coming from. Listen and understand versus hearing and trying to create a reason as to why you have conflict with what I'm saying, right? So a lot of times, when it comes to first dates, men will go out and try to pull all of the stops. And I'm going to give some examples here, because tonight's episode is not going to be that long. You have it to where a man will be in an insightful conversation with a woman, and she'll talk about how she may want to go on a picnic, or how her fantasy is to go to a real nice expensive restaurant, and this guy is really vibing with her. He thinks he's vibing with her, and he thinks he's really digging her. So he'll say, well, how would you like to go out on a date? And in that moment, she's really feeling the idea. You know what I mean? But when the date comes around, either the day before or 5 minutes before, the woman completely cancels. And a lot of times she may not even reschedule. And if a woman doesn't reschedule, guys, then that usually means that her interest is really low. Right? So a lot of times, ladies, guys will go through all of this work to create the stops and to create your fantasy first date or something really special for you. And then when you cancel, now he has to try to quickly reschedule or cancel the reservation that he may have had. Or he put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the situation, and you cancel last minute and it doesn't pan out. And he put a lot of work in. That's a lot of work that goes into sometimes even scheduling a date or making the reservations and trying to create that vibe. Right? So in certain cases, now I'm going to get into some of my guys' example. I'm going to give you a prime example. Men, when they're interested in you, ladies, they will move hell and high water to make sure they're there for that date. His mama could have got shot in the face 9 times by 6 p.m. And if your date's at 7 p.m., he's going to be there by 6:59. While sometimes, ladies, you must admit, if you're not feeling it for that night, or if you feel like you got a better offer, or you want to hang out with your friends, which could just be last minute, you'll cancel. And a lot of times may not even meet that guy halfway as to say, hey, can we reschedule? And then when you reschedule, you'll cancel that one. So I'm about to go into like my close friend's, his example of what he did on his first date and how it didn't really pan him out anywhere. Right? So it was about a week. He had asked a girl to go out on a date, and she was completely down. He said, well, how about we go out next week? And she said, cool. I'm digging it. I'm feeling it. It's righteous. Sorry for the 70s terminology, but she's like, I'm down. 10 toes. A couple of days before the date, which he asked the week prior to go on the date, a couple of days before the date, she said, I'm so excited for our date. He's like, smooth, this woman must be really feeling me. So that was 3 days before the date. And on the date, the day of the date, my guy, he was driving in his car, just left his college campus, was driving in his car went down. So he had to wait, call a tow truck. And the tow truck came, got his car, so he had to Uber back home. Took a shower, went to get a haircut, Ubered again to the barbershop, Ubered back home to get dressed, put on his cologne, put on his smoothness, and then Ubered out to the dating site to make sure that he was on time, which he was. Now, while he's sitting there, he was prepared to pay for the whole date and the fun and the games, because they were going to go to Dave and Buster's. And he was prepared to pay for the whole thing, right? So the night starts getting a little bit late, and there's a couple of like 10 to 20 minutes to where he hits her up because he noticed that she's not there. She hadn't hit him up. And he said, "Hey, where are you?" And she said, "Oh my God, I completely forgot." And the whole time that he's sitting there, he's thinking to himself, I done went through all this hell that I went through today. You hit me up 3 days prior, and now you flake. And the thing is, she didn't even come back and say, well, can you give me 30 minutes? Can you give me an hour? She didn't see to at least try to meet him halfway. Nor did she say, hey, can we reschedule? Same thing with one of my other guys. He was trying to plan a picnic for a woman because she said she's never went out on a picnic. He planned a picnic, got the picnic basket, got the food, got everything, got the works. And by the time of the date, a couple of minutes before, she had canceled him with the BS excuse. And women, you have to admit, sometimes y'all be coming up with these convoluted excuses that may not have nothing to do with you, but you'll find a reason just to cancel that date. For example, a woman will be like, oh my God, my cousin's sister's cousin who's a dog got shot, and now we need to go to the veterinarian. We gotta check on him. We gonna pray for him. I'm so sorry. Without even trying to meet that guy halfway. So fellas, what I found to be more successful in my dating life is if I no longer went on first dates. Because the thing about a first date is when you go out on a first date, you have a lot of expectations. You expect that person either to be on time or to show up. You expect that person, it's almost like an interview process to where they're going to come and they're going to put their best face on, and they're going to talk about or essentially try to sell themselves. Right? And a lot of times this can create trouble if they decide to go into a relationship later on down the line because they've tried to present their best selves instead of presenting their true selves. And then now, that expectation that you've had on so many dates that they presented in the first date, they can't live up to it. So what I found to be more successful, fellas, is to not go on first dates at all. But a good substitute for that is just to tell them, hey, let's hang out. And fellas, when you say, hey, let's hang out, that means that you will usually go to a spot that you frequent and do things that you like to do. Fellas, if you like to go walking, then invite her on walking. If you like to go to the hookah bar or go to the bars, then invite her to the bar. Invite her someplace to where y'all can just sit down and just chillax and talk. And you let it be known that it's not a first date. This is just a hangout. And these hangouts are really an interview process. You're trying to get to know that person. You asking a couple of questions. You're trying to pick up on their vibe. And you're going into it without any expectations. And generally on a hangout, you and that person may pay 50-50. So again, and then ladies, this is actually a benefit to you. So one, she may not have to expect or create a standard of expectation for you fellas. And two, ladies, so that he doesn't expect sex from you or anything else. Y'all just hanging out and vibing. And then if the vibe is there, then you may schedule a second hangout. And if the vibe is still consistent, now you schedule your first date. Now the first date can be the third time that you guys decide to link up together. Now during the hangout, if she decides to flake, well, that's cool, because you're already doing something that you enjoy doing for yourself, fellas. There's no expectations. And that saves you a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money than planning a first date. And again, women, you have to also understand that you're not the only ones that go through a lot of flack in the dating world. A lot of men have to go through a lot of flack too. And like I said earlier, women, you also have to admit that sometimes your tendencies could be, if you don't feel like going out that night and you just want to Netflix, you'll cancel that date. And that leads me to my next point and my final point. Men, don't do something for somebody else when you know they wouldn't do it for you. Don't extend yourself so much so that you would not do what benefits you. And if it benefits you to either cancel a date or walk out of that date, then you do that, because that's exactly what she would do. You have to be open and willing to do that. And to forego, again, just a lot of that expectation and potential future hurt feelings. No more first dates. Hang out. Get to know that person. And then you go from there. But that ends tonight's episode. I know this was a relatively short episode. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in into the Cranes Dating Coaching Platform, your favorite Purple Pill podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And in a couple more episodes, maybe around the 5th episode, we're going to try to change it up, switch it up a bit, and hit this up live. Don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a kin to tune in to Crane's Dating Coaching Podcast. Y'all stay out here. Y'all stay blessed. Don't forget, make that dating world shake.